Hey everybody, and away we go with another season of the Hilltop Sports Report podcast. The 2023-2024 Fall Athletics campaign is about to kick off, and we're going to have a football game here in Mount Vernon on Saturday. So what better reason than to have the quarterback of the Rams, John Smith, on the inaugural episode of the 2023-2024 campaign. Without further ado, let's begin episode 10 of the Hilltop Sports Report right now.
Let's go Rams! Let's go Rams!
Jumpin Jack Carlson here inside the Academic Technology Studio with senior quarterback John Smith. John, it's a pleasure to have you on with me this afternoon. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, so let's get it started. Last year was a bit of an interesting season for the Rams in that quarterback position. Obviously, things didn't go as planned with injuries going on. You were the third-string quarterback at the season's beginning last year, and you found yourself as the starter. So kind of break it down for us how you approached last season, how that shifted throughout the season, and how that has improved your quarterback game.
So just going into the CoGame, I was third string, right? I wasn't getting like any team reps. It was just Jordan in Denver. I didn't even know when Jordan went down. I saw when he got hit and I was like, oh shoot, like they're just going to take him out because they don't want him getting injured. I didn't know that they even took his helmet. And then Denver goes down and I was like, oh, they're going to send Jordan back in. And then they call my name and I was not ready at all whatsoever. And I remember going into game week, he was talking about, like, if we're inside the 10 and we run a certain play, like, find a certain guy early. I didn't find the guy early, and I threw an interception on that play. And it was, like, my first play in, and I was like, that's not what I expected my first snap as a college quarterback to be. As the season progressed, you know, Denver was out for the season, so I was the 2 when Jordan got back, and then Jordan got hurt again out for the season. I was the 1. I just kept mentally preparing myself. You know, you saw 2 guys go down, so just always stay ready because I wasn't ready going into co-week. And so I was making sure I just stayed ready. You know, I wasn't on top of film, so I was watching film 2 to 3 hours a day. Like I was watching film forever last year and just making sure I know the defense's tendencies and what I'm supposed to do because if I'm thrown in, I'm not going to want to be like a deer in headlights. So I was just making sure that I was ready and on top of everything.
How do you think that adversity from last year, maybe kind of being caught off guard, being that third string, how has that improved your personal game going into this season?
So, yeah, it's improved it insanely because I'm making sure, like, I'm never going to be caught off guard like that. If the defense is doing something that I didn't see on film or I don't recognize, I'm not going to be like a deer in headlights, like I already said. I'm not going to be stunted by it or anything. I'm going to be as poised as possible, and I'm going to try to just react as if, like, you know, I was already prepared because I'm watching film. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Now just, like, put it into play.
Absolutely. And so, putting it into play, the ball goes into the air on Saturday in Mount Vernon. The Co-Hawks are coming to town. So, training camp has been going on here in Mount Vernon. What have you seen out of this 2023 Rams team that excites you for this upcoming season?
We're all hungry. I feel like this team knows that, like, we have a chance this year. This is our closest chance, since I've been here for sure, closest chance to beating Co. So I think everybody's just mentally locked in and excited to play and can't wait to get on the field. I know I can't wait to get on the field and play them again.
Yeah, that will be great. Hopefully the Rams faithful shows up on Saturday, makes it loud at Van Meter Family Field. That would be great. So offensively for you this year, new offensive line, for all intents and purposes, a lot of graduation. The Corley twins were at the forefront of the offensive line attack last year. They've since graduated. So a bit of a younger squad, maybe a bit more athletic. Coach Dan Pifer talked about that in his media day interview. So my question to you is this. What have you seen out of that offensive line group, and how do you think they will improve over the course of the season, being that young squad, improving from game 1 all the way into game 10?
So we've had 3 different offensive line coaches, and so, you know, that kind of messes you up. But I feel like all of them are ready for whatever. Like you said, they're more athletic. No offense to any of the old guys who graduated. They're more athletic. They're just young. As the season goes on, they're just going to progress and get better.
Absolutely. So staying on that offensive end for a minute, from the offensive line to the wide receiving core, there's a lot of speed in that room, and especially Trey Birdsong, he returns. He missed all of last season with an injury. So speak on Trey for a moment, and then also the speed in that wide receiver room. What about that excites you for this upcoming season?
Okay, well, to start off, I mean, Trey's my guy. Me and him have been locked in all of spring. Threw a touchdown to him in the last play of the spring game. And then going into this year, me and him have just been in contact all summer. You know, he's been telling me how he's been training. I've been telling him how I've been training. Every time that we do routes on air, we throw, I make sure that I'm always going with him. And then whoever's next, like, I'll go with. But, like, I got to start off with Trey, because we just got to get that rapport going, you know, some good chemistry. And, dude, his speed, it's scary. He's insanely fast. I'm so excited to take the top off this year. With the whole wide receiver core, I feel like this is the most talented wide receiver core I've been around. This is the most talented team in general I've been around. But, like, the wide receiving core especially, I feel like there's no necessarily weak link. They can block, they can run, they can catch the ball, they can jump. I love it. I'm excited for this year.
Yes, so from wide receivers now, kind of just going through the offense, we went through the offensive line, the wide receivers. Now Tony Gomez, the running back here for the Rams, poised for a breakout season. Last year he shared the duties with Joel Lacey, now kind of looked at as maybe being the guy to handle a lot of the carries. So what have you seen out of Tony so far this camp, and what are you looking for him to do in this upcoming season?
Tony is a good guy. I like Tony. He's really hard on himself. He's hard on his teammates as well. You know, he's a hard runner. Like, I just love everything about how he approaches football. He's everything that you want in a running back. He can catch the ball. He can block for you. He's a goal line back, a third down back. He's a power back. Tony's everything you want in a running back. I love him. I'm excited to see him out on the field because, like you said, he's ready for a breakout year, and I feel like this is what's going to happen.
So what else in that running back room have you seen so far this camp that maybe Ram fans should be on the lookout for?
A lot of power. You know, we got this running back. His name is Boo Boo Browning. This kid is an animal on the goal line. We got a goal line set, and he's like our main back that we're giving the ball to. It's either him or Tony. And he's a big back, a power back, and I'm excited to see our goal line attack because last year, you know, we had a lot of running backs. Still, you know, it was mainly just two running out of it. You know, this year we got 3 to 4 deep this time. You know, we got Daniel. Daniel's a little speed back. I like him in the passing game because when he has to pick up like a linebacker, he never fails to just chop block him and take him down. And that's what I love because, you know, that's taking that entire player off the field for me and I don't have to worry about him. Those 3 running backs right there are what I'm most excited about for sure.
So scheme-wise on this team, Coach Dan Pifer was asked about this on his Media Day interview for the Midwest Conference. So what do you see without, you know, divulging trade secrets or anything, from passing to rushing? Last year was rush heavy. This year, Coach Dan Pifer was thinking perhaps maybe more of a passing attack to balance out that running attack.
So it just kind of relies on me knowing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know, reading the defense and making quick decisions and getting the ball out quick. That's kind of our main thing. Just getting the ball out fast so I don't take any hits. The O-line doesn't have to, you know, if they miss a block, it's okay because the ball's already out of my hands. You know, it's just quick, fast reads and trying to get the ball into, you know, our playmakers' hands.
Absolutely. So new change with the offensive coaching staff. So Ryan Kaltenmark gets promoted to offensive coordinator. So what's your relationship with Coach Ryan, and how do you see that playing out for this 2023 season?
So me and Coach K have always been close. I quit football my freshman year, and then I came back my sophomore year in the spring trying to be a player again. But I was a manager my entire sophomore fall, so I filmed the games, and I traveled with Coach K to all of the games. Me and him got close. You know, he's a funny guy. I love Coach K. And then hearing that he got promoted to OC, I was like, this is exciting. Coach K is, you know, he's always ready to like joke around. He's fun, embraces having fun on the field all the time. He keeps preaching that to us. Have fun on the field, but he's still hard on us as well. He expects big things from the quarterback room. We don't have much depth. There's only 4 quarterbacks, but he preaches to us, hey, have fun and execute. Just be on top of your stuff, and we're going to win ball games.
That's a great philosophy that got me fired up. I'm ready for the season. So you said something interesting a moment ago that I want to dive into a little bit. So you quit football in your freshman season, and then you came back as a player. So what went into that mentality, first of all, to decide to step away from the game for a little bit, and then, you know, that fire was relit within you saying, I want to return to football, and it's paid off. You're in a position to play significant snaps for this football team this year.
So when I quit, you know, it was COVID year. There was no football season. We were just practicing, you know, doing a bunch of inter-squad things. You know, not having like that game, you know, having butterflies before a game or anything like that. It felt like I was just counting the days instead of making the days count. You know, I was just getting through every practice, and it didn't feel like I had the love for football anymore. And then I stepped away. I quit. In that time that I quit, I was hanging out with my friends. They were still playing football. You know, all my friends were still athletes. I kind of, you know, like lost my identity. I'm like, what's my identity? I'm an athlete. I'm a football player. So I'm going to reach out and I'm going to see if I can get back on the football team. Luckily, Coach Pifer, he gave me a chance. He's like, you quit on us. You're going to have to prove your worth. You're going to have to show me that you are dedicated. So I paid my dues by being a manager. Every day, being around the football team, whether it was a manager or as a player, just feeling of being around the football team was just great. And I'm like, I love this. And I'm glad that I came back, because walking away was definitely the wrong idea.
That's great. A truly inspirational story of you working your way back. And that's a very interesting statement you said. You said you were counting the days instead of making the days count. That is some good wisdom right there from John Smith here on episode 10 of the Hilltop Sports Report. So, Coach Pifer, we've talked about throughout this podcast, he's going into his third season officially. Obviously, the COVID season doesn't really count. So, going into his third season, what are you expecting out of him as far as the coaching goes, and what has he shown you that he's put in place for this upcoming season?
He was talking to me at our end of the year meeting in the spring, and he was saying, going to year 3, this is, where you start making that turn. We went his first 2 seasons 4-6, and then the next one's 3-7. Disappointing years. You're not going to say that those are good seasons. Those are losing seasons. He just said year 3 and year 4 are the years that you turn it around, and he sees a lot of potential in this team. What I love about Coach Pifer is how he knows our strengths. He knows what I'm good at and what I can do. He's good at pointing the things that I'm good at and expanding off of that. I'm good at quick game. I'm good at rolling out. He's going to give me a lot of those plays. Getting the ball out of my hands, letting me make fast decisions. He's made the whole offense around that. He's shown a lot of growth, because when I first started, he was really hard on everybody and wasn't really likable. When you didn't get to know him, because you don't know him that well, especially in the COVID year. You don't got any football games. You don't travel with him. You just see him for practice and that's it. And he's yelling at practice. He has high expectations, but he's still yelling at you. He's hard on you, but these last 2 years, I've seen him kind of grow and be a lot more mellowed out. He's cool. He's coaching wide receivers now, and I feel like he's found his spot. He was coaching the running backs all 3 years before that. This year he's coaching wide receivers, and I feel like he's having the most fun he's ever had. So I feel like, just having fun is what he's doing, and it's spreading across the whole team.
That's fantastic. So one final thing that I want to touch on football-wise, Tony Gomez mentioned something interesting in his interview. Navy SEALs were brought in during the spring. So maybe touch on that and how that really grows the team, and then maybe your personal mindset speaking with those individuals and hearing what they have to say.
Yeah, the Navy SEALs. So they came in and they gave us a lot of good wisdom, and then gave us a lot of physical, hard, taxing activities to where you had to rely on your group that they set you in. They called us boat crews. And they divided us in sizes. The shorter guys were in a group, the medium size, and then taller and taller. And we were all divided into about 11 to about 13 players. We did these physical activities. You just had to rely on your teammates, and that's kind of what carried on in this year. Our whole thing is rely on the guy next to you. Football is the only sport where 10 out of 11 is a failing grade. 10 out of 11 anywhere else, you're excited about that. But one dude misses a block, I miss a read, some dude drops a pass, that plays over, and we got nothing out of it. All 11 players have to be on the same page in order for us to be successful.
That's a great philosophy, and it sounds like it was really advantageous for this team to have those Navy SEALs in, and I think you made it on the other side in a good position. I'm not sure Jumpin Jack would be in a perfect position to do those boat crew things, so props to you guys on doing that.
It was not easy at all.
Okay, so senior season. Bring fans up to speed on what your future plans are, what you've been studying here at Cornell, and kind of what lays ahead for John Smith.
So I'm a health and PE major. What lays ahead for me? It's still kind of up in the air. I love this football team, and I'm one of the 6 or 7 seniors on the team, and a lot of them are talking about coming back for a 5th year. I think I might be the only one who's not really planning on coming back for a 5th year, but feels like every day it's growing closer and closer to me wanting to come back. So it really just depends on how this season goes, because I know I'm going to be good in the books and I'll be doing good in class and all that. It's just how the whole team does as a whole. That's going to help me decide on whether I want to come back for a 5th year or I want to move on with my life.
That sounds good. You've given some great stuff here in this episode, and I want to wish you the best of luck this season to you and also the team. It should be a very exciting buzz around the stadium on Saturday. The Rams and the Cohawks doing battle for the first game of the season. The Rams obviously with revenge on their minds from last year's defeat. They're going to be going in there. They're going to be juiced up, ready to go, and I'm excited to see it. So, John, I want to thank you for coming on this podcast, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Jack.
All right, so that does it for episode 10 of the Hilltop Sports Report. My name is Jumpin Jack Carlson, thanking you so much for listening. Stay tuned to Cornell Rams social media platforms and me on Twitter. I guess it's now X, at JumpinJack123. All right, so that does it for episode 10 of the Hilltop Sports Report. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.
Let's go Rams! Let's go Rams!